So everybody, Nick Morgan is in the house.
Yo.
Thanks for coming down.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. You came down from LA.
Yeah.
How was it?
It wasn't too bad this time, actually. It only took me like an hour and 30 maybe.
Nice.
Yeah. Usually it takes a couple hours.
Yeah. Especially on a Friday. You all right over there?
Yeah, I was yelling yesterday.
Why were you yelling?
We were playing ping pong at the treatment center, so
yeah, nice.
it's pretty intense.
Did you win?
I did not. That's why I was yelling.
Oh, are you good?
I'm pretty good. I don't lose often, so I was pretty upset.
Was it against a client?
Yes.
Clients got you.
Yeah, that's like the worst feeling ever. You know?
Losing to the client?
Yeah. You got to give them a cigarette or something.
Yeah. So you have a treatment center?
I do. I have an outpatient center in LA.
Okay. What's it called?
It's called the Healthier Choice Recovery.
Okay.
THC recovery.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what's the story behind it?
The Healthier Choice recovery was a long time in the making. I've been in recovery a long time myself. I've got a little over 8 years clean, and
Congratulations.
I appreciate that. I actually just celebrated last month.
Nice.
And I went through a bunch of rehab centers myself, and then ended up being a halfway house manager, as time went on, and kind of got involved in the industry that way. And I just saw that I really enjoyed like interacting with the guys and just people in recovery and keeping people accountable and curfews and cleanliness and stuff. And I just kind of like figured out that I really, really love the industry, and I really love to like help people. And as time went on, I kind of just worked my way up in the industry from a tech to did like housing director. And then shortly after that, probably when I had about a year and a half, I started doing outreach.
Okay.
And at that point, I started traveling the country and speaking in schools and prisons. And
How did
jails.
that happen? Because you're a motivational speaker.
Yeah. So I want to say when I had like a little over a year clean, I saw some of these like recovery advocates that were like posting videos and like talking about recovery. And I was like, wait, I don't have to be like anonymous about this. You know? And
hell no.
No, it's cool. And that's what's kind of like different about me too and I think same thing. We're very, very vocal about our recovery. And I saw that I was able to do that, and social media was a super awesome platform to be able to like reach people. And I put a video out maybe like when I had like a year and a half clean, and it was like a 22-minute video. And this is like back when people actually watched longer videos.
I was like, did you say 22 minutes?
Yeah. And it kind of went like viral in my hometown. I'm from Southern Illinois. So the video actually kind of went like viral in a sense where I'm from, in Southern Illinois. And next thing you know, I had like a church reaching out to me and like, can you come speak at our Celebrate Recovery meeting? And
Very cool.
That was like the first like stage I got to get on.
And how was that? I mean, were you fine? Like I'd be really, you weren't nervous at all?
No, I was nervous in the beginning, but like, I'd spoken like AA meetings before that, but like never to like people that weren't one of us. Right. And because they struggle with other things. Like, I don't want to say they're not one of us, but it wasn't necessarily pertaining to like drug addicts and alcoholics when you speak somewhere like that. And I was a little nervous, but like, I always prayed before I spoke, right? And I asked God to kind of like speak through me. And, those first like 30 seconds on a stage, you're kind of trying to like find your place. And then like God kicks in. And that's like when I knew, like, I was like, I want to do this. You know what I mean? Like I love speaking in front of people, and like God kicks in and I just get all fired up, and I love it,
I love that. I feel like that's what happens with me too when I go and speak, but I think it takes me like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Not 30 seconds to get comfortable. But as soon as I feel that, and it's like something comes over me, it's got to be God.
Yeah. No, that's what it is. I mean, call it God, call it energy, call it the universe.
Yeah.
But like, whenever you're speaking about something that like you've been through, what I mean?
Yeah.
It's more of a spiritual thing, and God kind of kicks in, and it's fun,
Yeah.
Like a lot of people can't do it.
No. We're a rare breed.
Yeah.
Of sober people.
Yeah, no, for sure. A lot of people can't do the crowds, and they go up there and it's like 5 minutes and they're like, all right, I'm good.
Yeah, and they're choking, or people just get real uncomfortable. You feel uncomfortable for them. You're like, oh God, make it stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely. So how'd you start speaking in schools and to kids and doing all that?
So I started with that one church, and then there was actually a newspaper that had came to the meeting and wrote a little article about like, a hometown hero, right?
So rad.
And I thought it was the coolest thing ever, because I remember seeing the newspaper like growing up, and you see the hometown hero. There's a lot of different kinds of like segments they would do, but like they did something in the newspaper, and next thing you know, like WSIL TV, which is like the local news station there, like wanted to do a whole segment on like hometown hero, and they did like interviewed me and my mom and stuff, which really like was on the news. And next thing you know, we're like, well, all these schools are reaching out, and I'm going to schools. And then, you know, it was just in Southern Illinois. And then next thing you know, I've got schools from all over the country reaching out, and, you know, prison, same thing, just people that kind of like followed my story that, you know, I would have never thought I'd be in. I've spoken in prison in front of 350 inmates.
What was that like?
I was like, what do I have to offer these guys? You know what I mean? Like, how am I going to come up here and stand on this stage and talk about, you know what I mean? Like my life, how it was then and like now, and like, how are they supposed to get anything out of it? Right. They're in prison.
Yeah.
And it was the coolest thing, right? Where again, like God kind of kicks in and I tell my story, and like, you know, I try to really like in a sense relate to what I can relate to whenever it comes to them. But, you know, afterwards it was just like 30 of them come up to me. Bro, that is amazing. Wow. You know, I'm in here for drugs and like I'm getting out soon. I'd really love to stay in contact. Like very inspirational, and like, you know, not so much like focusing on the differences, but like they were focusing on the similarities from the story, and like they don't get to experience that often, right? Where a speaker comes in and they see someone from the outside that's like not in prison, you know?
Yeah.
And it was cool. They retained a lot, and like I got a lot of great feedback. I didn't get anything weird from them, you know, as far as like, you know, I thought maybe someone would be like, oh, fuck this kid.
Fuck this pretty boy.
Yeah.
What's he doing in here?
Yeah, for sure. But it was super cool. And I got to hear a lot of cool stories from them, and everybody's like different walks of life, and like really humbled me. You know what I mean? And really like that one prison, like the first prison that I spoke at, really just like changed me. You know what I mean? Like my perspective on like my life and recovery and how shitty it could have got, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah. I was going to ask you, like, what does speaking do for you? I mean, what does it give you?
Me personally, like it makes me, number one, like hold myself to a standard, right? Like, how am I going to go up on a stage and speak all this, you know, greatness and like motivation and accountability, but not like hold myself accountable? So it's really been good for me in my own recovery, as far as like spiritually fulfilling me, right?
Yeah.
Like people find spiritual fulfillment in like different things, like whether it be the gym or whether it be church or whether it be you know, an AA meeting. Like for me, like being on that stage and being able to like be of service to other people, like keeps my spiritual gas tank full.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I feel the same too. Just like recovering out loud and being out there, you know, as you are too in social media and the public eye. Like if I have to walk the talk.
Yeah.
Like I have to live an honest life. I have to do good. I have to give back. I have to be kind. I have to do all these things if I'm going to put it out there, because I feel like there's people out there that are trying to do it that maybe don't have the same intentions, right? And it eventually shows.
It does.
You know, like if we're going to do purposeful work, we have to stand behind it in every way, in every aspect of our life.
100%.
You know, so I love that about you. So your story goes way back though, because you were at one point homeless.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what was that all about?
Well, when I finally started going to treatment, right before that, I had lost my best friend from an overdose. And that's really what gave me the little push to go to treatment. And it wasn't necessarily I wanted to go to treatment because I wanted to get sober. Like I was comfortable in the misery, if that makes sense.
It does, yeah.
But like my mom was crying, his mom's crying, coming to me. Like that's what really like influenced me to start going to treatment. And I went for like 60, I want to say like maybe like 60 days. At the time I had health insurance, and you know, it's easier to get into treatment when you have health insurance. Yeah,
unfortunately, but yes.
But you don't realize that, you know, and when you have health insurance, you don't understand like how grateful you should be.
Right.
And you know, I saw this like treatment center online, and it's like, looks like it's in South Florida. It looks like it's like right on the beach. The waves are
just what you need. Right?
hitting the back of the treatment center. I get on the phone with the guy, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, you know," but telling my story like, "Oh, I'm the same as you, bro." And he told me there was like a horse named Trigger at the treatment center, and there was like jet skis and all this cool stuff. And you know, I got on the plane and I went down to South Florida, and I got there, and it was none of that.
Oh, no way.
You know, it was like, no, seriously, like the treatment center itself was like on this canal, and it was just straight like brown water and just smelled like poop.
Yeah.
There was no jet skis,
right.
No horse named Trigger.
Yeah.
And you know, I was stuck there. I'm like, Mom, get me out of here.
Yeah.
No, I'm not getting you out of nowhere. You're stuck, you know? So I went through the treatment center in South Florida. And I did like maybe like 60 days there. And, you know, we're master manipulators. And, you know,
for sure.
I did 60 days of treatment. Like, it's time for me to go home.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm going to get a sponsor. I'm going to get a job. I'm going to do all this stuff, you know. And like in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing this shit, dude.
Yeah.
I don't want to be sober. You know, I can handle this, you know. And like once you get some time of sobriety, you think like, oh, well, I can drink like a normal person, right? Because it's alcohol. You can buy it at the store. Like, you know, and you justify it in your mind. And, you know, I drank at the airport before I even left Florida. You know, I decided it was a good time to go back home, get back with my ex-girlfriend in that toxic relationship and, you know, go back to the same area where I was getting high.
Because you were good.
Yeah. I was straight. Like, come on, man. I just had a little issue.
Right.
Like, but realistically, I was just going to satisfy like my mom. You know, I didn't want her to cry anymore. And it just goes to show it doesn't matter like who you do it for. If you don't do it for yourself, then like, it doesn't work. You know?
Yeah.
And so I went back home and, you know, it wasn't even like a couple weeks later. You know, I'm just drinking it. It's fine, right? Drink one night. We're cool. My ex at the time was like, should you be drinking? Like, yeah, of course. I just got back from treatment. Like, have a glass of wine with me. She's like, hell yeah. You know? And that's just like kind of what society's outlook on alcohol is. Like, it's
absolutely
fine,
is.
You know? And one is too many and 1,000's never enough.
Right.
And it might not happen, you know, that time that you drink, or maybe the second or third or fourth time, but by the fifth time, not even 3 weeks of being home, I'm back at square one.
Yeah.
Putting shit up my nose. I'm drinking. I'm fighting. I'm breaking down doors. I'm beating the shit out of my girl's stepdad in the front yard. Like, real quick. You know what I mean? And, you know, it just went south really fast. And again, I had health insurance at the time. So I ended up in a motel room, like by myself. I'm doing like drugs I don't even like. I'm doing methamphetamine. I don't even like meth. You know, I don't. I don't like meth. I don't like cocaine. I don't like crack. I was doing all of it. And, you know, I was just miserable. I got to a point where like, I was like miserable. I was by myself, sleeping in a motel or sleeping in this old lady's like trailer, this 70-year-old woman that my friend knew that said I could sleep on her floor with cat piss all over the place. And, I just kind of got that like gift of desperation to where like I picked up the phone this time. You know, like I made the call and I wanted to get clean. Like I was tired of living the way that I was living. At least I thought it was, you know? And went back down to South Florida. I get on the phone with the same treatment center. Help, you know what I mean? Like, of course we'll take you back, man. Like, we got you. And went back to that treatment center. Met a girl this time in South Florida. And at that point, I had made the decision that I wasn't going to go back to Southern Illinois, right? Because it's just miserable. Everything, same shit happens every time I go there. So maybe I can figure it out in South Florida. And went to treatment again. And I meet this girl and
in treatment.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know,
of course.
Special.
Those are the good ones.
Oh yeah. Like we were both doing great, you know? And, you know, you ever heard the term like 2 dead batteries don't start a car? Like that was definitely us, you know? And, we actually started drinking, kratom. I don't know if most people are familiar with like what kratom is. Kratom.
Okay.
Some people call it kratom.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it.
I never did it.
It's just like, it's a plant that gives you the effect of opiates. You know what I mean? So instead of taking like a fentanyl, you're taking a Vicodin, right? Which is like sparking those opiate receptors.
Right.
But you can't fail for it on a drug test at the time, right? Back then you couldn't. They didn't have drug tests for that. And so we're doing that. We're like, you know, we'll just keep it at this. We're hiding from the techs and all that stuff in the treatment center. And, you know, we decided that all of a sudden, like we didn't need to be in a treatment center anymore. You know, we could just go keep doing our kratom, you know, and just like go get a motel in South Florida and live happily ever after.
Right. Just the thought process, right? When you look back on it, you're like, wow.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Great idea.
Right.
And she happened to have like a little money at the time. And like, you know, a little money is like, you know, like great to hear when you're in treatment. You know what I mean? And it's a girl like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Great. Awesome. Yeah. We can keep partying together.
Exactly. And so we went to the motel and it's only a matter of time before we're, you know, banging Dilaudid and doing heroin and just doing drugs, you know? And then all of a sudden, like, she ran out of money. And all of a sudden, like, I wasn't there anymore. You know, I all of a sudden disappeared with these other guys running the streets of South Florida.
Yeah.
And she ended up, I got a phone call probably like 2 weeks after I left, and she ended up dying of an overdose.
Wow.
And that was kind of like my wake-up call in a sense where I was like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
I'm out here on the streets, like running around, and went to like 3 different detoxes. And I would leave as soon as they would bring my Suboxone taper down. I'm out, and left 3 different detoxes. And then I'm running the streets of Florida with some kids that I met in the detox, and we're getting high, and everything had been stolen from me from the treatment centers. And I'm sure people are familiar with going to treatment, and all of a sudden they search your shit and there's half of it left.
Yeah, yeah.
And or the kid that gets high in the sober home that takes off in the middle of the night and grabs all your shit. Experience that a lot, you know. And I was down to literally like 1 pair of shoes and 2 pairs of clothes.
Wow.
And a backpack, just like hustling through South Florida and like Lake Worth and like Delray Beach, like that area. And I'm on the street. I'm like, I'm homeless in a sense, but I finally like called to try to get back into a treatment center, and the same treatment center that I went to before. And they said, we can't take you. What do you mean you can't take me, man? I got health insurance. No, you don't. My dad had disenrolled me from the health insurance because he saw that I was going all these places, 3 days, 4 days, and just bouncing. He's like, my son's down there like using this health insurance card like a Amex, like going to these different like, just abusing it. And I couldn't get into treatment, you know, and it's fucking like 90 degrees in South Florida. It's humid, you know. I'm sleeping under a pier in Lake Worth, like literally sleeping under a bridge.
Wow.
And I came to like this realization that like, I don't know if like the DARE guy ever came into your school.
Yeah. I remember that.
And I would be like, we'll never do drugs, you know? And he used to show this like picture, like if you do drugs, and it was a guy under a bridge, he was just looking rough as hell. If you do drugs, you're gonna end up like this. And that like came into my head, and like I was that dude. You know what I mean? Like I was that guy that I swore that I would never be, right? Like growing up, like I'd always justify myself, even through my drug use, like, well, they're using needles and I'm not. And like I'd never do that. You know how many times I've heard someone, I'm scared of needles, I would never do that. In the back of my head, I'm like, that's what the fuck I said too.
Yeah.
You know? And
it's only a matter of time.
100%. And you know, we're willing to do whatever when you're out there. You could put me in the Sahara Desert, right?
Yeah.
And I'll find a way to get high.
For sure.
And I did that. And I'm using needles. I'm under a bridge. I'm like, you know, just this homeless person. And I come from a good family. You know what I mean? My dad's an orthopedic surgeon. Like my mom's a nurse. She's been a nurse for 47 years. Like, you know, I wasn't raised that way, you know? And it doesn't matter like how you're raised. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter like, you know, the family that you came from, like regardless.
Doesn't discriminate. No. That's for sure.
And it's not always a parent's fault. You
right.
know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like I hear that all the time.
Yeah.
Like, oh, if their parents would have not, fuck that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like drugs and alcohol, you get a little taste of that shit, you don't know how to stop. If you're an addict, you're a fucking addict.
Yeah.
It's not because your parents made you a fucking addict.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree.
And I think a lot of parents beat themselves up because of that shit. And that's just not the case. You know, people do come from that lifestyle. People do have a rough life. There's people that had a fucking great life. You know what I mean? That are sleeping under a bridge right now.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the parents.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And that's just my opinion.
No, I agree with you. It's, you know, it's that ism.
Yeah.
Right? Like for some people they can just drink and it's fine. Yeah. And other people can't. And some people have the trauma and they don't become an addict or an alcoholic, and some people do. And it's like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't discriminate, man. I mean, I've been working in the treatment industry a really long time, and I'm telling you, like lawyers, doctors, police officers, you know what I mean? Every type of person probably that you could imagine into a detox center. Yeah. You know, and it just goes to show it doesn't discriminate. I'm telling you, like an attorney that represented me at one point when I was in trouble in Southern Illinois, you know,
you're doing the same.
I ended up putting him into treatment.
So
you
crazy.
know what I mean? Like the correctional officer from when I went to jail, the CO, I put into treatment.
And that's why we got to get out of this judgment and this stigma, 100%. You know? It's not just someone under a bridge.
No.
You know, it's our moms and our dads and our friends and our loved ones and our doctors. And
it's people are people. You know what I mean? It doesn't discriminate. And like, it doesn't need to be like left unsaid either. Oh, I'm a doctor, I can't talk about it. Right. Oh, I'm a cop, I can't say this. You know what I mean? Like, fuck that, dude. Like, we're in 2023. So many people are dying from fentanyl. You know what I mean? Like, you got people going to get a Xanax bar and dying of a fentanyl.
Literally.
You know,
like the conversation needs to change.
Yeah.
Like we need to be talking about this
100%
more loud, screaming it.
I totally agree. And that's people talk about dumb shit, man. The shit that I see on social media and the like the big events that people are talking about, like a fucking rapper's court case or fucking COVID-19 or fucking Donald Trump breaking the law. Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like this is like people, the main cause of death between the ages of 18 and 45 is opiates.
Boom.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like that's the main cause of death. That's more than car accidents, that's more than murders, that's more than like cancer. Like that is the main cause of death. And like, when do you ever hear people talking about that shit?
So what do you think that's all about?
You know?
Like, what's going on?
I don't get it, man.
Yeah.
I really don't understand it, because like any of these other things, right? Like COVID-19 came through and people literally didn't know how to fucking operate.
Yeah.
Because, oh my God, COVID-19. Like, how long have we been walking next to people strung out dead on the sidewalk?
Yeah.
You know
I heard
mean?
just recently that there was more people that died from fentanyl and fentanyl related, diseases, illnesses, than actual COVID.
Yeah.
Like what?
Like a massive difference.
And it was like this epidemic, and we're not treating it anywhere the same. Like 300 people a day are dying across the world.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah. People don't want to talk about like something that Big Pharma started, right?
Well, and I think that's where
they don't want to talk about that, right?
Yeah,
like Big Pharma owns everything.
Yeah.
Just FYI, it's not just like pharmaceuticals. Like they own everything. You know what I mean? Like they have a lot to do with Google. You know, like there's a lot that they have to do with, and like nobody, like people want to talk about COVID-19, and like literally they want to dishevel the entire world and make them concerned about this, but like. The fuck was COVID-19? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? What is that in comparison? What the fuck is going on right now with the opioid epidemic?
Exactly. And this is affecting not just now, but the next generation.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this is a worldwide issue and it's not going anywhere.
No, it's killed off an entire generation.
Literally.
You know, like that's a fact.
Yeah.
And it just baffles me every single day to like see some of the shit that I see on social media or on the news, and like, rarely do you see like light bring to that. Yeah. You know, and it's a disservice to people like me and you and people in recovery that have lost people, like the closest people to them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's bizarre to me.
Yeah. And I won't stop. I mean, I want to keep talking about this. You know, I want to go to the highest levels possible. I mean, I want to be in Washington, you know, I want to be a voice for this. And I know you do too, because it needs to be changed. And I could go down a rabbit hole on this for like, we could probably talk about this for a week straight. But it starts at the highest levels, and big pharma and people that are billionaires out there. And well, we're dying. You know, people are
just dying off. Like it's nothing. And it's crazy to think like, honestly, how many people just don't know what to do, right? Like even a lot of fentanyl addicts, like they don't know, like me and you could sit with that person, right? And tell them the solution. Like, hey, this is how you get clean. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They don't even have that opportunity. You know, when people go their entire lives without being able to sit with somebody that truly understands. Yeah. Because it's not like talked about. You know what I mean? Like, how many families do I speak to that are like completely clueless on what to do? Yeah. You know what I mean? And like that wouldn't be the case if more people spoke about it. If more people like, you know, like big platforms like actually shed light on it, and educated parents and things like that. And it's just, it's not a thing. It's not a priority.
We need more of that. We need that education, you know, because it's not being talked about. Even in schools and with families, it's still like this taboo, like, oh, don't want to talk about it. It's like Narcan, you know, there's a lot of mixed feelings on Narcan, and I think it just got approved to like be in high schools.
Oh, nice.
Like a law, I think, passed locally. But before then they didn't want it because they're like, oh, well, it's essentially like saying like, oh, it's okay because we have this, they can just take it. It's like, what?
They don't, the people that are making those rules don't understand opioid addiction.
No, they don't. Right.
Like whether you say you take the fucking, the Narcan away or not, like they're still going to get high. Yeah. So you're going to take a device away from where they could live.
Yeah. That would save their life because, oh no, we don't want to encourage the behavior. It's like,
I'm telling you, like in even when there's little things, right? Like even when it comes to like a CLIA license, right? I don't know if you're familiar with the CLIA license. A CLIA license is something that you have to have as a treatment center to be able to like give point of care, like urine tests, right? Fentanyl is not approved to be tested on a CLIA license. Like per CLIA license, it's not approved to test for that on a cup.
What? Is that why you have to do it separately, like in the little dip thing?
Yeah, because it's not approved on a cup.
But why?
I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. And even the labs that I've spoke to
I've never really thought about that because I knew that was the way, but I didn't really question it.
That's why you always see a fentanyl strip that's separate.
Yeah.
Because they won't approve it. Like, is that not bizarre? That's weird.
That's really weird.
Like, there's so much
shit. That's so
shit.
strange.
I don't get it, man. I don't get it. And that's why like we just try to maintain our army, you know what I mean? And just stay woke when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Because we're strong together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's a lot of us.
Absolutely.
There's millions of us out there and millions more that are out there just not ready to come out yet. You know what I mean? That are out there in silence. So we have to speak up for them.
100%.
So how'd you get out from under that bridge? What happened?
So after probably 35 phone calls in a couple of days, you know what I mean? I was under the bridge for like almost 3 weeks that I slept under that bridge. And actually like went back and like I go back. You know, when I go to Florida, yeah. Like I go eat on top of the pier now. You know what I mean? At Benny's on the beach and have a nice fucking meal. You know, and I used to sleep underneath it. Like it's so crazy. It's a powerful feeling. You know what I mean? And I like doing stuff like that. And you know, like I ended up getting a hold of a friend of mine that I was in treatment with prior. And he was doing well. He had like a year sober and he's like working at a treatment center. And he was like, dude, I'll get you a scholarship. And he got me a scholarship. But I needed to experience that homelessness, right? I needed to experience someone telling me, no, you can't get in here. You know, I needed to experience like being on the street and just being a junkie, you know, in a sense, what they would call us anyway. And he got me a scholarship and I was tired. You know, I was tired. Like I literally did not have nothing left in me. You know, it was either like, I'm going to get into treatment real soon or like, that's it for me. You know, I'm going to find out how to just like off it. Yeah. You know, and I went to the treatment place and I like I said, I was just tired, man. If you would have told me to stand on my head for 30 days and I would stay clean, I was stood on my head the whole time. Yeah. Like no question. Like I was done living like that. I was done like packing my shit, going to this sober living, getting my shit stolen, getting kicked out, getting high, going to this detox, getting my shit stolen, getting kicked out, getting high. Like I was tired of fucking walking around with a suitcase or a backpack with my fucking name tag on it from the treatment center before. Yeah. Like I was tired, man. Yeah. Like I started to see these guys in Alcoholics Anonymous, actually. And, you know, in the beginning, I'd be going to meetings and I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm not like these people, you know what I mean? And this guy's talking about how he robbed an old lady at an ATM to smoke crack. I never did nothing like that. Yeah. And this guy's talking, like I was always like focusing on like the differences rather than similarities. And like that last time that like I went to treatment, like I started focusing on like, oh, okay, like what do I want? Right? Like how can I relate to these people? Like in accepting the fact that I was a drug addict and an alcoholic, right? At the time. Yeah. And you know, I started paying attention to these guys and they were like, oh, well, dude, like we work steps, you know what I mean? And we go to meetings and like we have a sponsor and like they got a nice haircut and they're wearing nice stuff and they're all cliquey in the AA meetings and having a good time. And I'm like, in the beginning, I was like, fuck those guys. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, fuck those guys. And, but it wasn't like, fuck them anymore. It was like, okay, how did they get there? You know? And I did the whole, you know, work steps, get a sponsor, you know, going to meetings. Like I said, do 90 meetings in 90 days. I was doing like 120. Like I was like, about it, you know? Yeah. And I really found like my home in Narcotics Anonymous. Okay. That's really where I felt more comfortable. I still have some, obviously, like some disagreements and stuff when it comes to how some people are spoke to in those meetings. And I didn't really like realize that until like I was further along myself and I watched the newcomer come in and just how, you know, some people, some old timers in a sense would make vulnerable drug addicts that are new feel, you know? Yeah. And it just didn't sit well with me. And I slowly not removed myself from the program, but started to go to less meetings in a sense. But just really stayed plugged in with my sponsor and the fellowship of guys that I was with. You know, we went to one meeting that we went to every single Thursday. We all meet up, we go to the meeting, we eat, blah, blah, blah. You know, the usual like, you know, sponsorship family. Right. Yeah. And but I was able to find like a sponsorship family that wasn't so like fucking uptight, man. You know what I mean? And everybody's different. Everybody needs different vibes. Some people need that sit down, shut the fuck up stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those guys.
Right,
you tell me to sit down and shut the fuck up, I'm gonna punch you in the face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just.
You're not that guy.
I'm not that guy. You know what I mean? And I'm very like protective over people in recovery and like how they're spoken to. And I understand like the vulnerability like in the beginning. And it's just not for everybody, but that's kind of where I found my solution.
Yeah.
And, you know, kind of just worked hard in my recovery. I put that before everything.
Yeah.
You know, like anything you put, you know, before you recover, you'll lose. That's a fucking fact.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just always made sure I was talking to my sponsor. I was working my steps and, you know, kind of putting that first. And next thing you know, I'm working at a Little Caesars for fucking like $8 an hour. And I'm taking 2 buses to work and 2 buses home from work. And the public transportation in South Florida is very fucking trying. You know what I mean? Like it's wild. I mean, it's wild out here too. But I haven't necessarily experienced it out here, but I did in South Florida, and it's crazy.
So you were humbled, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And working at a Little Caesars, and you know, I'm just working hard, staying at the sober living. I'm the halfway house manager, so I'm like making sure everybody's home for curfew and having the weekly meetings, and that's really like where I found like, fuck, I love this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I just love like being in the trenches, like with the fucking person that's just banged up. You know what I mean? Has no clue what to do. Like mom's fucking dad are like frantic. Like I love being the one to be able to like calm that down a little bit and like give some solution, right?
Where do you think that came from?
I don't know.
Because you got it. Like you get excited about it.
I do. And it's just like, I literally like I'm excited as fuck right now. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest. Just like I love this stuff, right? Like I don't picture myself doing anything else in my life. And like I've known that for a long time, like since I got involved with the industry. And like I think that's what a lot of people are trying to get to in their life, right? The whole goal is to like find a career or something that like you love, right? That you genuinely enjoy. It doesn't feel like work anymore, you know? And I found that. And I try to like get that, to explain that to other people. Like it doesn't have to be like working in the treatment industry. Like find something that you love, you know,
find your passion.
100%.
Find your purpose. Yeah.
100%. I did that in the beginning, and I just knew really, I was like, this is what I'm supposed to do. Yeah. And I just kept running with it and working hard. I went from working at Little Caesars to Hot Dogopolis. Which is like a hot dog place, like a family-owned hot dog restaurant that this husband and wife owned, and their daughter was like in recovery, and they kind of like treated me like family. And you know, it was like my mom away from home in a sense. My mom's my best friend. Mom, don't get confused, okay? You know? But they were just really, really like helpful and like helped me as far as like the job. And I went from $8 an hour to $9 an hour. And then like they give me assistant manager and I'm at $10 an hour. And I'm like fucking taking the bus to work. Next thing you know, I bought a scooter and I'm like fucking on my scooter all through South Florida, going to meetings. I throw the homie on the back. We'd be going to meetings and stuff. And just kind of like just really worked hard and stayed focused. Focused, you know? And there was definitely trying moments along the way, right? Because that's life. Life is, you eventually have to go out into the real world. Exactly. Right? You eventually have to go around and be around people that aren't in recovery and offer you shit, or fucking you want to go to a party and hang out with girls. Well, there's probably alcohol there. And there was a couple situations where like I'll never forget where I was like right there. You know what I mean? I was like right there about to pick up a drink. You know? And in the beginning, in such like a small movement, right? Like literally the reach of a hand.
Just right there. Yeah.
Everything's fucked after that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, it's a simple movement of you picking up a drink. Like that whole movement could just fuck up your entire life. Everything's done for you. It's over. You're back at square one. Yeah. Before you know it. Yeah. And it just, I didn't do it, you know? And I'll never forget like being in treatment and I kept begging them for my phone. I was like, give me my phone. I need my phone. Cause I was going to bounce. I was going to like hit the dope boy up and get the fuck out of there and have my friend that's in Georgia send me a fucking whatever, send me money and pick it up. And like, I had the whole thing like, but they didn't give me my phone. Yeah. And I literally like 2 days of that, I'd say like, just like begging for my phone in a sense. Yeah. It finally passed, right? Like the obsession like was like gone. Like, okay, well, not I don't feel like I need to get high anymore. Yeah. And that's like where I think a lot of people don't hang on for that, right? They go with that like, oh, I gotta get high.
Yeah,
instead of like letting it pass.
because it always passes. Yeah. Like when you were reaching, right? Because there's a lot of people are like, fuck, I can relate to that. And they can also, then they do, right? So it goes a step further. What was it that made you stop and not actually do it?
I think remembering like the fact that I was just homeless, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that it was hot as fuck outside, right? And the fact that like I don't have health insurance anymore. You know, like what the fuck you?
So you played the tape through.
Yeah, that's what I got taught, right? Play the fucking tape.
Play it through.
You know, and I accepted what the fuck the tape was telling me. You know, that like things were gonna go exactly how the fuck they went every single time, and like that's a beautiful thing. Is like being able to finally like have that realization, right?
Yeah.
That like if I do this, this is what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know, and as easy it is to like say that, and it's like you think it'd be easy to process that. Like it's not.
It's hard work.
Know?
Yeah.
Like it's not for drug addicts. We're very impulsive and we want instant gratification and we don't think about all that shit. You know, we just want that emotion gone. And I was able to like process, right, and learn like, you know, I had to experience all those fucked up things to be able to process like, okay, I don't want to go back to those fucked up things. You know, and I didn't have that thought process the first time that I went to treatment. It was the fifth time that I was like, oh, okay. You know, and
there was a shift for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like young people, like 18 years old, 19 years old, like going to treatment, it's like,
that's what I do too. I'm like, oof, like good for you for trying, you know, at that age, but
it's rough. It's like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, right? Do you put this kid in a treatment center and he's lived kind of like a fucked up life, right? He's 18. Depending on what his life has been, I don't know. I'm just basing this off of like somebody that's 18 years old, you know, just kind of grew up in a sense, goes to treatment and like hasn't really experienced that like fucking homelessness and like fucking strung
hasn't hit a real rock bottom yet.
Like, and then they go around all these guys that like are like, yo, dude, I was just fucking shooting heroin and fucking had a massive abscess on my arm and I've been on side for 6 weeks. You know what I mean? Like, like it kind of makes them like, and it did for me because I was like, what, 21 years old when I started going to treatment.
Yeah.
Where I was like, oh shit, man, I still got some left in me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like these guys.
Yeah.
Like, and once I get to that point where I'm shooting dope, then I'll take it seriously, you know? But it's like hard. Okay. Do they go to treatment or do they keep getting high? If they go to treatment, they might learn like, you know, a lot of fucked up shit. You know what I mean? Unless it's like an adolescent program, right?
Yeah.
But once you're 18, like you go in with everybody else. So it's just, I think that's a big thing too. Yeah.
So you started working in treatment. You worked your way up.
Yeah. Worked my way up in the treatment industry. And I went from working at the hot dog place to being a behavioral health technician at like 9 months. And then I was like, fuck it, I really love this shit. You know? I love being a grown ass, like a grown person's babysitter in a sense, you know? But I worked at a program that was like pretty bizarre. And like, I was like finding needles every day and like, really like in the trenches and like some people be like, oh my God, I'm fucking scared. Like, oh, no. I was like, fuck yeah, man. Like this is cool.
It was your new high.
Yeah. So it was cool. And I enjoyed that. And I just kept really like working on my recovery and like staying focused and just got to a point to where like I was director of outreach for a very, very big facility. They had like 150 beds, worked my way up and, started traveling the country and doing all the speaking and stuff like that. And this treatment center wants me to work for them. This one does, blah, blah, blah. Because I've always been a guy that like do things organically, right? Like I speak, I'm not like, you know, doing like as far as the treatment center goes, like I'm not going and taking lunches with other treatment centers. Right. You know, the business to business, like bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, I've always just like loved being out, like doing things organically on social media or traveling and speaking, doing interventions and stuff like that. So I just got really good at that. And, you know, it really made my career take off as far as the outreach went and as many people that were like calling me for help and, did some tours, like literally like I did a tour with a rapper and we toured like, I think we did all of Ohio. We did like, I want to say like 8 cities in Ohio and like maybe like a 10-day period. And we went up to New Jersey. We spoke a bunch of places at some jails and stuff like that. And
very cool.
Yeah, it was cool. Just kind of like life really took off. And I never would imagine I'd be like on the road, like speaking and helping people.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you never know where it's going to take you. you know?
For sure.
How do you stay motivated and how do you stay like so excited about everything?
I'm in the trenches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm with guys that are struggling every single day. Like I just recently opened a treatment center. You know, when I was, I want to say about 3.5 years clean, I ended up like helping my brother get clean, right? Like I got clean down in Florida. I put some years together and I kept saying, bro, you got to come down here. Like you got to get clean. Like look at this life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's my brother. You know what I mean? Like we got high together. We fuck shit up together. Like, you know, I started doing well and like he was, you know, trying to pull his shit together, but he couldn't, you know, in Southern Illinois. I kept asking him like, man, like, why don't you just come down here, bro? Like just stop the madness. You know, I got people calling me from Southern Illinois. I just see your brother walking down the street with no shoes on. Like,
oh shit.
You know, and just banged up. I was literally getting calls from like different people like, bro, I saw your brother today. Like, he's not doing good. Like he lost his job here, there. Like, but he didn't want that. You know what I mean? He was like the type of person, and I was too at one point where like you could bring someone like life on a silver platter in the midst of their addiction.
Yeah.
And then they just slap it out of your hand. Like, I don't want that, you know? And only a drug addict or an alcoholic would understand like that thought process.
Yeah.
Where other people don't.
Like, that's crazy. But to us, it makes sense. Yeah.
It does for sure. Like the end of 2018, he came down. He finally said, you know, like, bro, I'm going to come. Like, got him a scholarship because he waited till he was 27 to come to treatment. You know, waited till the insurance was gone. And thank God I was in the industry. You know what I mean? And I was able to pull some favors. And he went to treatment. And while he was in the treatment center, he met a girl. Fucking same thing, like brother, you know?
Yeah.
And he got a lot more emotionally invested than I did. They kind of like fell in love and, you know, ended up like leaving the treatment center together and running around. And then I finally got him away from her. But she had introduced him to a bunch of drug dealers in South Florida. And I finally got him away from her and got him back into a program. He was doing extremely well. He put like 3 months together. So I moved him in with me. He had a job, sponsor, going to the gym. He's like fucking in shape, like doing great. Like never seen my brother doing so well in his life.
Yeah. And
I actually, it was like I want to say like, he had like 6 months sober. And I'm telling you, like the guy was just like crushing it, man. Like so happy with him. And I had to travel. I had to go speak at a conference up in Peoria, Illinois. So I went up there on like a Wednesday and spoke on Thursday. I started texting with him. We're like bitching back and forth on some brother shit. Saturday morning came and I just didn't like how we left off on that conversation. You know, I did not feel well. It didn't sit well with me. And I texted him and I was like, I love you, bro. And he was like, he texted me back and he said, I love you too. That was the last thing I ever got to say to my brother. And I came home on that Sunday, had to break the door open, and he was overdosed and dead on the floor.
I'm so sorry. So you found him?
Yeah. And my whole life turned upside down. You know, like it's literally the worst shit that I've ever experienced in my life. You know, that's why whenever you ask me like where do you get this fire, right? Like, where do you get this fucking passion from? And it's that, you know, like my best friend passing away and then like finding my brother and like just knowing that like there is a solution. Yeah. And watching like having to go through that whole process of like, you know, like burying my brother, you know, and watching my mom that literally just lost her child, like broken, you know, like the whole family just fucking broken.
Yeah.
And it's like today, man, like every time like I accomplish something, every time I hit a milestone, like every time like I get to do something cool, like even if I was to come here, like he's supposed to be sitting right here with me. You know what I'm saying? Like he's supposed to be like here for the ride, man. Like I don't like that's what I would have done, right? Like he would be here with me doing all this shit. And it's like every time I accomplish something, I can't help but think like, damn, man, like he's supposed to be here. And like, if I can do anything, right? Like me knowing that like I do have the power to like, you know, influence other people and I have the power to like give solution to other families like that are going through this shit.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. Yeah. You know? And like, I came to a point in my life where it was like, okay, Nick, like you can either like dive into this depression and this PTSD and everything from like experiencing that, right? From like literally trying to resuscitate my brother on the floor, knowing like it's there's nothing I can do.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget that, right? And like I can fall into that like depression and like fucking fuck my life, you know? Like I've been at that point I had spent 3.5 years of my fucking life like helping other people. You know what I mean? Like helping other families, like doing interventions, making sure their son's safe or their brother's fucking safe, right? To come home and like find mine dead.
Yeah.
Like that's not fair, you know? And I had two ways I can go. I can go and dive into this depression, or I can work through this, right? I can take suggestions from other people that have like experienced the same thing and like make something good of it. You know what I mean? Make something like great come from it. And that's what I did with my best friend, you know? Like that's what inspired me to like really fucking like be loud about this shit. You know, like be loud about this shit. Like fuck it, like go to an AA meeting, get a little sponsee, help that guy. Fuck that. You know what I mean? Like we have the ability to like help lots and lots of people by not being silent, right?
Yeah.
And that's just something I'll never shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I'll never shut the fuck up. I will never stop doing this shit. You know, after he passed away, like it changed my life, man. Like I moved from South Florida actually out here to California, and I just needed like a change, man. You know, I needed to be able to breathe, and I had to get out of that townhouse that we were living in. And like I just, something was like just came over me like this isn't it, right? Like this, there's something more that I'm supposed to be doing right now. And I feel like I'm capped out in South Florida, right? I feel like I'm working for all these fucking treatment centers for all these fucking owners, right? And all these fucking guys telling me what time I need to be at work and what I can and can't wear, and fucking acting like I'm family. Oh, we love you, bro. No, because I'm generating you millions of dollars. That's why the fuck you love me, bro. Like I'm not stupid, you know? And just being around that fakeness for so many years of like owners owning treatment centers that are not even in recovery, know nothing about this shit.
Yeah.
Like almost being their bitch, right? And I did that, but like after my brother passed away, like I was like really dealing with like sleep issues, right? Like I was having flashbacks and like PTSD, and like I was like, this shit would just like come over me in the middle of the day where like I almost couldn't speak in a sense. And it was suggested to me by a doctor, right? That truly believes in this shit, and that everyone in AA would probably hate this guy for this, right?
All right.
Suggested me to consider like cannabis, right? Because going back to drugs and alcohol in a sense, right? Like was never an option for me. Yeah. It was never an option for me. It's never like, I got to go get high. I got to fucking, you know what I mean? But like this was suggested to me that, you know, that it could work, right? And before I went about that, like I told myself, look, if I take this medication, right? And I continue to do the step work with my sponsor, and I continue to have that community and accountability, and I don't lie. Right. Why the fuck can't I stay clean? Yeah. Right? Like, why am I considered a fucking newcomer or you're getting high? Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. And that's really where like my thinking changed with it. And I did take that route, and I did have to duck and dodge and things like that for a while. Yeah. And it didn't feel good. It felt like my whole entire life before that, I was pure, right? Like there was nothing that like I couldn't like say, you know what I mean? And I felt like I was like fucking trapped for some time. And I finally like got an opportunity to come out here and be a part of a place that opened that was a specifically like cannabis friendly facility, right? Where like we could be allowed about it, right? We could talk about it. We could you know, help people with this and educate them on it in a structured way. Yeah. Not just like one of these flop houses where it's like, hey, come here, do what you want. Difference. Just make sure you go to group. Like, no, fuck that. There's regulations around it. And like, I got to be a part of that. You know, unfortunately, it was like another owner that like, you know, is a business guy. Yeah. Right. And that place, I just kind of, he disappeared in a sense because he sold he had like 500 beds elsewhere, sold his other companies. So he didn't give a shit about the Heavenly Center anymore. Right. So I kind of left, you know, I went out to Big Bear and I shut my phone off for like 2 days. And I was with my homie, and I just really like soaked in life in a sense, right? I really like did some thinking and like grounded myself with the universe. And like, I had this realization that it's only up to you, right? Like it's only up to me to be able to be successful. It's not up to the guy that I work for,
Hell
right?
yeah.
It's not up to my parents. It's not up to my sponsor. It's not up to these people that, you know what I mean, are supposed to be like figures of authority in a sense, or like better than you, or that write your paycheck. Like I came to the realization that like fuck all that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm at a point in my life where like I can do my own thing. Like my talent is my talent, right?
Yeah.
What I'm good at is what I'm good at. And that's why I'm where I'm at today. You know, and it took fucking 7 years, I want to say, to realize that like, dude, you can do this shit, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not up to anybody else. You know what I mean? I was always about like, I got to look good for the owner. So you know, maybe I can get a raise, you know?
Yeah.
Or, you know, like the owner this, the owner that. Every move that I was making in my life, it was like based off of, oh, is this going to be okay?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, can I do that? You know what I mean? Oh, is it okay if I take a trip? No, fuck all of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when I came back from Big Bear, I was just like on fire at 100.
Yeah.
I'm going to open a sober living. I'm going to call it Patrick's Purpose, right? And name it after my brother. And I'm going to open a treatment center after that. I came back from Big Bear. I opened a sober living, called it Patrick's Purpose. It's been open for a year now.
So rad.
You know? And it's just been something so beautiful. I have a big mural in the sober living with my brother on the wall, and like, you know, it's like 15 beds. It's just such a dope community. But I continue to carry that non-judgmental style of recovery, right? That open-minded style of recovery. It's not, oh, come here, you better go to, you know, 90 meetings in 90 days. You better do AA. You better get a sponsor. That works for some people. Yeah. There's a 7% success rate when it comes to abstinence-based treatment. 7%.
It is true.
7% of people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's, so what about the other 93% of people?
What's happening?
We're supposed to say fuck them?
Yeah, especially in a day and age of fentanyl.
Yeah.
Like,
what do you mean, dude? Like, we're supposed to say fuck those people because they didn't want to do it your way, right? They didn't want to do the abstinence-based treatment. That didn't work for them. They've tried that fucking 16 times. I do the best, right? We do the best, right? It's called the Healthier Choice Recovery. We opened an outpatient program. We opened maybe like a little over 2 months ago. Yeah. So we opened that program, and like what I've seen is I do the best, right? With those people that have been to treatment 16 times. Yeah. Right? I have a kid right now that is about to have 9 months sober, right? He is not like, he's been in prison, in jail, and on the streets his entire fucking life. He's got scars all over his fucking body, and he cannot put more than 60 days together ever in his entire fucking life, right? 16 treatment centers. He's got almost 9 months. He's on the phone with his mom having good conversations. Like he's talking to his grandma and like laughing and having a good time. Like he's taking overnight passes and coming back sober. Like, yeah, tell me that there's not another way, right? Yeah. So we've really formed that community. Like, yes, we have a treatment center, but it's more about like the community where it's non-judgmental, right? Yeah. Like regardless whether your path is cannabis, regardless whether your path is you're on Suboxone, like it's fuck if you do ayahuasca, if you go eat mushrooms on the weekends, like you microdose mushrooms. I don't give a fuck. Yeah. If that works for you, I'm going to give you a fucking hug, man. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, keep coming around us because we think the same fucking way. Yeah. You know? And I've seen it work with my own eyes. I'm 8.5 years, a little over 8 years clean. Yeah. And like, this shit works.
Yeah.
You know?
And I love that you're saying that because it's something that people are doing but not talking about. And it takes someone brave like you to talk about it because it isn't, one way isn't for everybody. 100%. And the way that it's going with the fentanyl and just this new, you know, this new group of kids growing up, it's like this next generation, like we have to do something different.
100%.
And we can't be judging. And what works for one, it's just like, it's not going to work for someone else necessarily. And you got to recover the way it works for you. And as long as you're not hurting other people, then who fucking is there? Right. Like, why should you judge?
Right. 100%.
You know, like I'm not. No, that's for sure.
I literally went to, I mean, you got to think about it. The Big Book was wrote in 1939. Okay.
It's been a hot minute.
It's fucking 2023. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we're fucking almost 90 years. Like, what the fuck, dude? You know, like 90 years ago.
90
you're
years.
Gonna tell me that like, if you don't do this shit, there's no other fucking way. Like, bro, you are fucking not in this world. You're not on this planet. That is not real. Yeah. You know, like I literally like, I can put it like this, right? And I like to put it like this because you can go in an AA meeting, and I'm never talking shit on AA. I've seen it save and change so many people's fucking lives. Like if it wasn't for Bill Wilson, like we would not have Narcotics Anonymous. We would not even have the concept of like community and fellowship and recovery, right? Like I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah.
But it's like you walk in an AA meeting, and there's an old timer there, and he sits in the same motherfucking spot every fucking week, right? He's been going there for 25 fucking years, okay? And he drinks fucking 8 cups of coffee a day. He's gonna go out, he's gonna smoke a pack of cigs, right? You got the kid in the corner that's got fucking 8 years clean. He's got fucking sugar-free Red Bull, you know what I'm saying? They're little monsters and shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, like that's cool. That's all right. But God forbid, right? God for fucking bid somebody says I use cannabis.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, let's go by the book, mood changing or mind altering, bro. Most of those old guys, I'm sorry, taking a little Valium before they go to sleep at night. You know what I mean? Or like people are on medicated assisted treatment.
Yeah.
Like people fucking smoke 20 packs of cigarettes. People drink hella fucking caffeine.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like caffeine is a fucking plant too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Well, not caffeine, but coffee itself, right? Let's put a big thing of fucking coffee at our AA meeting so everybody can be energetic. You know what I'm saying? But God forbid this guy comes in and he says, you know what? When I get stressed out, when I'm having PTSD, when I'm fucking going through, I don't give a fuck. When I want to use, right? I use cannabis.
Yeah.
I'm fucking over 8 years clean today.
Yeah.
Tell me something different. Tell me what am I fucking missing here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's different, man. And I went to an AA meeting the other day, and I because my friend was celebrating 2 years clean, uses cannabis. Okay. Watched him from day one, put him through treatment, have watched his journey. He's working in the industry now, 2 years clean. Fucking amazing, right? Mm-hmm. Dude was banged up, you know, could not put together more than 3 months clean his entire fucking life. Has 2 years in an amazing position. We went to an AA meeting, and I go to good ones, right? I've heard fire speakers, good fellowship, everyone's having a good time, energy. And one of those guys, you know what I'm saying, that are just like hardcore gets up there after people are sharing. There's a guy with 3 or 4 days that went and shared. Because it's one of those meetings where they want supposedly want the newcomer to share, right?
Yeah.
Guy had 3 or 4 days clean. He's talking about his pain. My friend celebrating 2 years. He gets up. He chops it up. They don't talk about the steps, right? While they're sharing. Mm-hmm. And it evidently upset this guy because it's a 12-step meeting. So he went to the front and he said, I felt obligated by AA to come up here and talk about the steps because, you know, this is a step meeting, right? And he looks around and I'm like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? Like, this guy's fucking serious. He said, if you come to AA and you don't work the steps, you're fucking loitering. You're a loiterer.
Eesh.
Okay? And I'm sitting there and like I'm shaking because I'm like, I see these new guys in here. Like, he's like, what do you want to come here and fucking smoke cigarettes and fucking chop it up with your buddies? Like, no, bro. Like, if somebody is hurting, right? Mm-hmm. If somebody is hurting, another girl, 30 years gets up there. I was taught if I come in here and I'm a newcomer, I'm supposed to sit down and shut up. What?
Yeah.
So these guys I'm watching that are like banged up in the back, scared to be here. Like, that kills people. Yeah. That drives people out of the fucking rooms, right? Like, that's not cool.
It's not bringing us together.
Why the fuck? If I feel like I'm about to use, right? If I got 6 days clean, if I need people, right? If I need to be around sober people, like-minded people, you're telling me I can't go to an AA meeting because I'm a loiterer? Fuck you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that is fucking crazy. And I was like, I'm passionate about this shit, man. Like, I'm very protective over those people that are new, over those people that are like fucking vulnerable. You know what I mean? Because I know what that feels like to walk in a room and want to feel comfortable and a part of, and somebody comes up and says some shit like that. Yeah. Like, it's not cool.
And you're out. And, you know, it's so hard to even walk in that room at the beginning.
It is.
Like, I had such a hard time. Like, I did AA for a good year or two, and then I did my own thing after that. But I would like sit out in the parking lot. I'd be like, I'm not going to be able to relate to these people. Yeah. You know, I didn't hang out with drug addicts in my using days. So it was like, I don't know these people. Super uncomfortable. And if I had walked in and that had been my first experience, I probably would have never come back.
Never again, right? Never again. And these people don't process that shit. They don't think about it like that. I don't think they do. Because if they did, I feel like they wouldn't say shit like that. Right, yeah. You know? And it's like, I'll be done with my AA rant.
We're good.
You know what I'm saying?
No, this is good stuff.
It's just really like it I feel it in my soul. Like,
no, I hear you.
This is like my passion, right? This is like, this is my life. And I'm very protective of other people in recovery and like their emotions and their feelings. Cause I'm telling you, if I was that dude that day, that was just coming in with 2 days clean, fucking vulnerable, scared, straight off the fucking street, I would have been like, oh my God, I feel like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck this. Like, and then when you remove people from the rooms or from a community, like they're fucked because we can't do this shit on our own.
Yeah.
Like you have to have that, you know? But there's not only one way. And you can't tell people, you know what I'm saying, that they're fucking loiterers.
Yeah, no,
because
that's
they came
bullshit.
to be a part of.
No,
you know
that's bullshit.
Saying?
I would have been pissed too.
I swear, and I try to be mature, right? Like I try to be like, you know, like I respect everybody's space and like AA. But like when dude said, does anybody want to share for a burning desire? Like I wanted to raise my hand so bad and just be like, bro, like you can't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not right. Like you can't just come at people like that. You can't be judgmental. Or the girl that said to sit down and shut up can go fuck herself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I love these guys, man. I love the fact that they're they're there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're there. It's hard enough to even, like you said, walk in the room. So
what do you tell people out there right now that have had that experience and are having a hard time going back? Like, what do you say?
That's not what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's not recovery. That's it. That is not how like this shit works. Like there's other communities, right? Like us specifically, we have our THC recovery meeting every Thursday night at 7:30 p.m. We have it at the Sober Living.
Yeah, where's it at? Tell people so they know where to go or how to get a hold of you.
Yeah, so it's at Patrick's Purpose Sober Living. Okay. Every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. It's in Encino. You can message either, you know, the Healthier Choice Recovery's Instagram. You can message my Instagram, like anything. I'll give you the address. And we're non-judgmental. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, we don't want people coming to the meeting all fucked up. You know what I mean? And trying to like get other people fucked up. But like, come as you are. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, raise your hand. Say what the fuck you want to say. You know, like express yourself. Like, be a part of. Like, that is not how this shit goes. You know what I mean? If you've experienced that, like, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Because like they failed you. You know what I mean? Like they fell fucking short on being a fucking person in recovery and supposed to be nurturing and supposed to help the newcomer, because that's not it. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't know if some people have their own shit going on in the day, and it can, you know, people can share things that are like out of their emotions, but like that specifically, if you've been scared out of those rooms, I have a place for you. Yeah. You know what I mean? I have somewhere you can log in on Zoom, like you can come physically, but people
need to feel safe. You know, they need to feel safe. They feel like they're not going to be judged. They feel like they can have that connection. You know, it has to happen that way.
100%.
It has to happen. You have to feel supported in that environment or it's not going to work.
It's you have to have something, man. Like you can't feel alone. And like those rooms are supposed to be, those communities are supposed to be like welcoming, right? Yeah. Give you a hug, man. Like make you feel a part of this sober shit, because this sober shit is cool, dude. Yeah. It's fun. Like,
and that's what we have to show people.
Serious.
And that's why I'm doing this too, to like show people like, hey, sober is fucking cool. Yeah. And we can have fun and it's cool people. Like this isn't some, oh, now I got sober, my life is going to be boring, it's over, you know? Like it doesn't have to be that way.
No.
You just got to find your people.
There's so much cool shit in it. It's so cool on this side.
It is. It's way cooler.
100%.
And you can like accomplish way more.
Yeah, dude.
You know, like sky's the limit.
100%.
Like for real. I was just telling the last person that was here, there's like a superpower. Like we all have a superpower right now.
Yeah.
Like for real. No, like to be this on fire over something.
Yeah. No, for sure.
I mean, that's legit.
It's something to be excited about. You know what I mean? Like there's so, I swear it's like every day I'm like, oh, dude, like this shit happened. You know what I mean? Or like, it's so cool, man. And like everyone can experience that. And it's like even just little things. I'm like, oh, I got a new pair of shoes today. You know what I mean? Or like, oh, we fucking went to the Outlook. I went on a hike, dude. You know what I'm saying? I'll be straight up with you. I love music. Like you'll see me in the club. You know what I mean? Like with sober people and shit. Enjoying myself.
You can still go to the club.
100%. I'm about to drop a video about going to the club sober and fucking making fun of the drunk people. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, life recovery is not a life sentence.
No,
you know
what
I mean? It's not prison. It's not like the fun is over.
No,
like,
it's a whole new life. That's better.
Dude,
way better.
So much fun. Like I said, I lost my fucking voice yesterday. I was fucking screaming at ping pong. Like it's like the little, you learn how to enjoy the little shit, but you can still do the big shit. You know what I mean? There's a way to do it. There's a time frame of being comfortable with yourself and learning how to love yourself and being a little confident, and like you can go these places.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you can be present.
100%. Dude,
you can remember it. You can remember it the next day.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
What would you tell somebody out there that's struggling right now?
There's a way out, you know? And again, a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people don't think they're capable of it. you know, and this shit is not easy in the beginning. I promise you that.
Yeah.
It's not easy by any means in the beginning, but I promise you it gets easier. You know, as time goes on, like, I don't feel like anybody is too lost. You know what I mean? I don't feel like anybody is like irreparable. I don't feel like anybody's too far gone. Like, I truly believe that every single person can get the solution, and their solution might be different than someone else's, but like, there is a fucking solution for every single person.
Yeah. Everybody is worth it.
100%.
No matter what.
100%.
Right on. Well, thank you.
Fuck yeah.
You're so rad. That was fire.
Yeah, that was fun.
You're like, boom. Time. I want to like get up and like dance around on the tabletop. Like, fuck yeah.
I love it.
All right, cool. See you next time, guys.